posting this reading over on YouTube as well. So if you're seeing this on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you are here for the weekly readings. And let me know like what other things you might want to see related to Fortnite or tarot on the channel over there. Alright, so as always, I'm using the same spread that I always use from Kate, dailytarotgirl.com. So this week our situation card is the Seven of Pentacles. All right, cool. I'm gonna pull all three this time, kind of look at them. I usually just do it one at a time, but I kind of feel like pulling all three. So we're gonna do that. So the challenge card of the week is the Eight of Pentacles. All right, 2 Pentacle cards. So what's going to help us this week is 5 of Cups. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So we've got our situation card, 7 of Pentacles, Saturn and Taurus. Challenge card is 8 of Pentacles, which is the Sun in Virgo. And the helper card is 5 of Cups, which is Scorpio, Mars in Scorpio, which my Mars is actually in Scorpio. Fun fact, which is probably why I kind of like feel like this guy all the time. I don't know how much you can see, but he is crying in that card. And I do a lot of crying. I've been doing a lot of crying since I was little, so that's funny. Okay. So this is interesting because each of these figures in the card, what stands out to me right away is that they are all intently looking at something. So in the 7 of Pentacles, this figure is staring at what she has already sown and is about to reap, and is figuring out, is this the right time to reap it or not? Like, are we just going to continue to let this grow, or is this the right time to, reap what we sow, as I just said? And then in this one here, we have a figure who's looking intently at one of the pentacles that she is crafting, and she's been crafting a lot of pentacles at her little craft bench. And then we have this figure who's just kind of staring off, but on the ground in front of him, where his head is bowed, there's like these spilled over cups. So it's interesting that they have this common theme of like intensely looking at something. So in the case of the 7 of Pentacles, our situation is that we're looking at something in our lives on the tangible plane. So Pentacles are things like our finances, our health, typically our money, our jobs or careers, things like that, our homes, so physical items. So kind of looking at what is happening in our life. So there's no real, like, other than this card, which is our challenge card, there's not a lot of action in any of these cards. 7 of Pentacles is more of like reflection and assessment. It's kind of like taking stock or inventory, kind of like seeing how far we've come from something, figuring out if what we've been doing is working for us, and looking at the abundance that is currently in our lives. So what is it in your life right now that just needs a little bit of reflection? And this is kind of perfect because this is September 29th, so we're 2 days away from October. So the end of the month is a perfect time to actually take inventory of like what has just happened, how did the month go, how are things working for us right now. Taurus is sort of that's a very earthy, it's an earth sign that usually has to do with, it's associated with Venus as well. So kind of looking at like our routines in a way, but not in the same way Virgo is, more of like our daily pleasures almost, how we take care of ourselves versus like how we take care of others. So I think that's kind of an interesting facet of this card. So maybe doing some self-reflection this week about how we've been taking care of ourselves, how we've been taking care of our money, our homes, our careers, our health, whatever. So that's our situation, but what's going to get in the way of that is if we are like working too hard. I mean, the Eight of Pentacles, I'm a Sun in Virgo too. It's so funny that two of these cards match up with the astrology in my chart. So I guess for me, my Virgo Sun might get in the way if I don't watch out. And I have been like, and so funny because like, see how she's got this like crown above her head? And it's just flames. I just feel like on the one hand we've got like this passionate energy to like work really hard, but like man, that can lead out to burnout like so hardcore. And last week, even though like I had those 2 days off, like one was for like figuring out, making sure that there wasn't a medical issue going on with me, and there wasn't, so I'm grateful for that. But I mean, that was stressful. And then the next day I was vlogging for my channel and like reading a book and editing videos. Like that's still work and it's still challenging. And then I had open house the next day. So I've been like really just like killing it at work. So this is asking us, and I feel this deeply resonates with me, like don't work so hard this week. Like this isn't the time to just like kill it and just bring it all. This is really a time for, the situation calls for like reflection, looking at what's working, looking at what's not working. And just being a little bit introspective about what is around us. So instead of just like looking within, we're actually looking around at our lives and being like, hey, how do I feel about this? As opposed to looking within and being like, how do I feel about what's going on within me and how I feel about myself. So in order to do that, let's not be external and working too hard and giving of ourselves to others or our jobs or all those other things this week. Like obviously we're going to work and take care of things, but like don't overdo it. And it's interesting because I never see this card as a positive card, the Five of Cups. It's always like we're just crying over spilled cups. We're all in our emotions. We're like really sad about stuff. But as the Helper card this week, I think it's just doubling up on the reflection piece, but in terms of our emotions, right? So, and I mean, Mars is an intense sign, not sign, but planet, and Scorpio is an intense, so there's like an intensity there that we kind of need to bring. So I feel like why this is going to help is that we actually need to get in touch with our emotions and our emotional sides. I often feel like this is a negative thing because I feel like I'm so in touch with my emotions and I'm just so intensely emotional that people kind of, I always felt like people just labeled me as like a big crybaby and that like I'm emotionally unhinged, but it's not. It's just like a release of that emotion so that I can keep, killing it at work because, people like when I do that. So I see this as both like exploring our emotions, letting whatever needs to come up, even if it's negative, and releasing that, because if we don't, we can't really like move forward and take the next steps for whatever it is that we want in our lives or what we want that to look like. But also, not like wallowing it either. So it would help us to like, acknowledge the emotion, release that, and then also look at, the positives, because we have these two cards here that are still filled up. So let's not wallow too much over like what's not working, but just release that energy. And it's just interesting to me, this kind of stands out. This is a little bit more like metaphorical in nature, but in order to have these plants grow in our Seven of Pentacles, you need water. And we get plenty of water here. So we need to kind of water those plants a little bit, water what's in our life with like our emotions, with our intuition, because I also feel like Mars in Scorpio, in the water signs in general, very intuitive. So tapping into our emotions and intuition is going to kind of guide us to whatever that next step is going to be. However, you know, we don't want our plants to like burn and shrivel up. So, yeah, so that's pretty much what we have going on this week. We need to do a little bit of reflection, checking out what's going on in our lives, what we think about it. Well, more importantly, what we feel about it, and release those emotions in a healthy way. And not overdo it. Let's not burn ourselves out this week. You know, you're doing enough, and that's all that's required this week. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, and now we're going to get back to another round because I really want to finish that up.